In 1954, the government of Egypt decided to build the new Aswan High Dam, whose resulting future reservoir would eventually inundate a large stretch of the Nile Valley containing cultural treasures of ancient Egypt and ancient Nubia. In 1959, the governments of Egypt and Sudan requested the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, to assist them to protect and rescue the endangered monuments and sites. In 1960, the Director General of UNESCO launched the international campaign to save the monuments of Nubia. 13. This resulted in the excavation and recording of hundreds of sites, the recovery of thousands of objects, as well as the salvage and relocation to higher ground of several important temples. The most famous of these are the temple complexes of Abu Simbel and Philae. The campaign ended in 1980 and was considered a success. To thank countries which especially contributed to the campaign's success, Egypt donated 4 temples. The Temple of Dender was moved to the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City, the Temple of Dibad to the Parque del Oeste in Madrid, the Temple of Taf to the Rijksmuseum van Oud-Heden in Leiden, and the Temple of Elisaya to Museo Egizio in Turin. 14. Convention and background. Main article, World Heritage Convention. The Convention, the signed document of international agreement, guiding the work of the World Heritage Committee, was developed over a 7-year period, 1965 to 1972. The United States initiated the idea of safeguarding places of high cultural or natural importance. A White House conference in 1965 called for a World Heritage Trust to preserve the world's superb natural and scenic areas and historic sites for the present and the future of the entire world citizenry. The International Union for Conservation of Nature developed similar proposals in 1968, which were presented in 1972 at the United Nations Conference on the Human Environment in Stockholm. 16. Under the World Heritage Committee, signatory countries are required to produce and submit periodic data reporting providing the committee with an overview of each participating nation's implementation of the World Heritage Convention and a snapshot of current conditions at World Heritage properties. Citation needed. The World Heritage List. UNESCO has been working with countries around the world since 1972 to identify World Heritage sites and protect them for future generations. Places as unique and diverse as the wilds of East Africa's Serengeti, the pyramids of Egypt, the Great Barrier Reef in Australia and the Baroque cathedrals of Latin America are examples of World Heritage sites. There are more than 1,000 sites on the World Heritage List, in 3 categories: cultural, such as a temple; natural, like a rainforest; and mixed, where both cultural and natural elements exist at the same location. Together, the sites represent the diversity of our planet and the people who have lived on it. They show the development of human history over thousands of years and celebrate the best of who we are, through art, architecture, religion, industry, and much more. They are ours to share, to cherish and to respect. Their disappearance would be an irreparable loss to humanity. The Royal Palace in Versailles. Copyright Bartwami Rabaki. The Royal Palace in Versailles. Copyright Bartwami Rabaki. What is the World Heritage Convention? The World Heritage Convention is the international agreement established to protect places designated as World Heritage Sites. It is officially called the Convention Concerning the Protection of the World Cultural and Natural Heritage, and it was adopted by the General Conference of UNESCO in 1972, almost 50 years ago. It was founded on the premise that certain places on Earth are of outstanding universal value according to specific criteria and as such should form part of the common heritage of humankind. Outstanding universal value means cultural and/or natural significance that is so exceptional as to transcend national boundaries and to be of common importance for present and future generations of all humanity. As such, the permanent protection of this heritage is of the highest importance to the international community as a whole. 193 nations, states parties, adhere to the convention and are part of an international community that is united in a common mission to identify and safeguard our world's most outstanding natural and cultural heritage. For more information on the 1972 convention, click here. For more information on the criteria for outstanding universal value, click here. Front view of the Porta Nigra, Black Gate, in Trier, Germany, built by the Romans in 170 AD. Copyright Alex Tyanov/Shutterstalk.com. How does a site get inscribed on the World Heritage List? Countries that have signed the World Heritage Convention can nominate sites to be considered for inclusion in UNESCO's World Heritage List. Along with the site nomination, the site needs to have a management plan demonstrating how it will be protected. UNESCO offers help putting the nomination together, and once complete, it is assessed by the relevant international advisory bodies, the International Council on Monuments and Sites, ICOMOS. The International Union for Conservat. UNESCO World Heritage, explained best of the best, that's the lofty standard for making the World Heritage List. Nations lobby hard to get their glorious buildings, wilderness, and historic ruins on the list, a stamp of approval that brings prestige, tourist income, public awareness, and, most important, read more. Travel. World Heritage. What is UNESCO World Heritage? From masterpieces of creative genius to beautiful natural landscapes, these sites reveal the most compelling chapters of Earth's history. May 12, 2018. 3-minute read. Best of the best, that's the lofty standard for making the World Heritage List. Nations lobby hard to get their glorious buildings, wilderness, and historic ruins on the list, a stamp of approval that brings prestige, tourist income, public awareness, and, most important, a commitment to save the irreplaceable. In November 1972, the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, inaugurated the list by adopting a treaty known as the World Heritage Convention. Its continuing goal is to recruit the world community in identifying cultural and natural properties of outstanding universal value. UNESCO officials do not see the list as a mere trophy case of superlative places. World Heritage status commits the home nation to protect the designated location. And if a site, through natural disaster, war, pollution, or lack of funds, begins to lose its value, nations that have signed the treaty must assist, if possible, in emergency aid campaigns. As of January 2017, 193 of the world's nations have signed the treaty. Related, UNESCO's newest World Heritage Sites. 1 of 26. Tapu-Tapuation, the lush volcanic island of Araiadia in the center of the Polynesian Triangle, forested valley, lagoon, and coral reef make up the property of Tapu-Tapuadia. In addition to its stunning natural features, the Mary Complex, a political, ceremonial and funerary center, is evidence of trad. Read more. Photograph by Stephen Alvarez, Nat Geo Image Collection. The World Heritage Program has scored high-profile successes. It exerted pressure to halt a highway near Egypt's Giza pyramids, block a salt mine at a gray whale nursery in Mexico, and cancel a dam proposal above Africa's Victoria Falls. Its funds, provided by dues from the treaty's signers, have hired park rangers, bought parkland, built visitor centers,